Hello and welcome to the Movement Lesson Sports Academy. Today we're going to be focusing on warm-ups and specifically what we can do as a coach to enhance our warm-up to help get our players ready for match play in the best way possible. This started off with an episode on the All About Movement podcast that we did with Michelle Turner recently. Michelle was at a Phoenix Sun match and she was looking at the setup of the warm-ups and just didn't think that the warm-ups that the players were going through were getting them ready to perform in that match. If you've not checked out the All About Movement website, it's available on all your usual podcast places, so have a search for it and have a listen. But today we're going to have a focus on, as a sports coach, how can you optimize your warm-up. We're going to have a look at the slight contrast between two teams who've set up and why I think that the way that they've made a slight adaptations to their warm-up is going to have a big impact on why one team was leading the other come towards the end of the first half, despite being a league below them. If you like what you see, then please hit the like button, and also if you could give us a subscribe, then obviously you're going to get notifications coming up for all similar videos like this, and we also allow us to see what people do and don't like. So if you're an aspiring coach, give us a listen, let's have a look and see if we can improve your team's warm-ups. So let's get into some footage. Now, for the sake of the video, I'm going to refer to the two teams as red and blues. So we've got the reds here having a warm-up, going through the very standard traditional leg kick. Movements all very linear. As you can see, we're not crossing our midlines much, and there's not a great deal of rotation taking place. Coach now asking to come across and kick across the body a little bit more, but as you can see with a lot of players, some are still maintaining a bit of a linear approach to that. They're not crossing that much, and there's not a great deal of rotation through the chest, through the spine, or through the hips. So let's have a look at clip number 2. Same team here. What are they going to do in this clip? Again, the movements that we're seeing now are going for an opening of the gate. So we're looking for a little bit more crossing, a little bit more rotation. But again, if you look at the chest, look at the shoulders, there's not a great deal of rotation through the players' bodies there. We're now closing the gate. And again, not a great deal of rotation taking place. Some of those players, again, you could perhaps ask a little bit, is a high level of engagement there? Are they really getting their body physically ready for the demands of a match game? So how does that compare to the opposition and what the opposition were doing and the slight differences for similar movements, not too dissimilar warm-up? Look at the contrast here with how much rotation is going through the players here, how much the body is moving round and probably replicating more of the demands of the game. As you see, there's more rotation through the hips, through the spine, through the legs. There's more of a bounce and a spring in the step with all these players' movements. Even here, you see, we're closing the gate. Look at how much more the hips and the spine and the shoulders and chest are all rotating. We're then turning halfway down, and when we're going into opening the gate, and again, we're getting a better stretch. We're getting more rotation. We're getting more signals sent from the brain every time that we have rotation through the body, every time that our limb crosses a midline, crosses that rotates around the axis, we're getting signals sent to and from the brain. So we're getting not just physiological changes, getting ready for the warm-up, but we're seeing greater connection with the brain and getting the brain ready for a warm-up too. But what about just sprints? Let's have a look at how we do just in terms of the sprints that the two teams go through here as well. So again, very linear. There's a little bit of weight transfer to start. Left to right, right to left, and then a short sprint. Again, very, very linear. Now we're looking for a bit of a bounce, followed by, again, a bit of a linear sprint, not much rotation taking place there. We're not getting many signals, not much feedback going to and from the brain with those movements. But how do we change that? It's what most people watching this have probably gone through. It's probably what you've done as a child in youth sports, probably what you've done a lot of the time as a coach as well. So the other end of the field, the opposition doing it ever so slightly differently. Let's take a look at what they're doing. Again, starting the sprints with an immediate rotation. Players have got to do, again, a bit of weight transfer, a turn, and then a sprint. We're looking for weight transfer and a turn and rotate and sprint. And again, that slight difference whereby you're asking players to turn around means that you're adding that extra little bit of rotation. You're getting more signals being sent to and from the brain, and you're actually looking to replicate and asking more areas of the body to be involved in the warm-up. Move on now to a little bit of technical work as well. Now the balls are out, and we're going to have a look at the slight differences here. And again, these are probably exercises. I know the activities that I've done, bit of technical work, pass and follow. Now you can have a look at this. A South Korean international. Is he really being engaged? Is he really preparing for the match that is about to take place in? Actually moves fantastically, glides around the pitch. But again, if you look at the activity that they're doing, not really stimulating, not really looking like the most engaged here. That's to be reminded to actually look for the next ball as it's coming again. And I worked with an academy side a few years ago, and I know that we were in a classroom session, and the players were moaning about the intensity that the players were the session that they were doing, and the coach was constantly saying intensity, 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 and the players were like, the reason there's a lack of intensity is it's just so basic and so boring, and wasn't really engaging and challenging the players. And I think this is something that we're seeing a little bit here. Pass and follow, yeah, we're working on a little bit of technical work, we're getting the blood flowing, but there, he's probably the best player in the squad, just being a little bit of a lazy pass. Can we contrast that to the warm-up that's taking place at the other end? And here we go. Now we're in sort of a game sense approach to probably an actual training session, but why not have a warm-up that replicates the game? Look at this. We're still passing round technical work. Now it's a set and pass across, set and pass across, a little bit more cognitive demanding, but an elite player again, just not making, or a top level player, not being able to make simple passes, not really engaged. Look at the engagement down here. Which one of these two practices are actually working the decision making, cognitively challenging the players, getting them thinking and ready for the game? You also look at the movements that they're taking, a lot more short, sharp movements, a lot more rotation taking place in this activity. It's a small area, it's a condensed pitch, we get that. We've got oranges around the edge floating, we've got greens versus non-bibs in the middle, and there's a game. It's a possession-based game. We're suddenly working on units and going to press and communication and getting ready for the game there. When's a good decision to go here? When's a good decision to drop off? When we're in possession of the ball, when's it good to just bounce a pass? When's it good to play through? When's a good time to go over, or go around? It's the questions and challenges and pictures that players are getting ready to see in a game, and you can tell by these players are a lot more engaged in this practice than the one taking place just over the halfway line. Now the red team also progressed to a similar approach, possession based, keep ball. Now we're getting a little bit more engagement, but they're playing in smaller numbers in a bigger playing area, and you can see here again that the intensity isn't quite the same. It's not as sharp and as snappy. They're not working in unison quite the same as a result of they've been been prepared and are they mentally ready for it? Whereas here again, a lot more rotation taking place, a lot more competitive, a lot more intense. They're having to think quicker, think sharper. They've got the signals from the brain, and as a result, there we go. Can I play through? No, I go over, go round, move and drift on, look for somebody. We're now swapping positions. There's an extra element brought into this game as well. You play and then go and join in. And again, it's just more stimulating, more engaging, and more preparing the players physically, because the movements are more similar to what to expect. But the vision, it's got to be working a lot more. There's more players to scan, to look around, and the rotation is a lot better, and the pictures are a lot better in terms of the choices and the decisions that we've got to make. Of course, that wasn't the full warm-up. Following this, both teams broke away and did some more unit work in preparation that was good. I know that the red team, prior to the videos, were doing a little bit of work with resistance bands as well, which I also do like. But I think when actually looking at the two teams set up for the warm-ups, it's not really, I'm sure it's not going to come as a surprise to you, the team in blue, even though they're playing a league below, actually with a team that took the lead and had a better first half. I think personally that they were more engaged. The differences were looking for a little bit more rotation. The movements were more replicating the game, and then the decision making in the games had been sharper, and the intensity being better had them set up and better ready for the match play. So in terms of, as a sports coach, how can you optimize your warm-up? Well, we can look at it like we said. We can increase rotational movements, even if that's just in a sprint, getting them to turn around and sprint, making sure that they're actually opening and closing the gate by getting the hips, getting the spine, getting the chest and shoulders all crossing, rather than it being a more linear movement just facing in one direction. Can we challenge the decision making and engage our players? We certainly saw that with the red team, with the technical ball work. It didn't look like the decision making and their engagement was there at all. But we saw that with, and again, maybe look at more games sense approach to learning and motor learning and skill acquisition and within our development. But it's certainly something, particularly when you're working with players of a higher ability, they need to be challenged. And we can also then say we need high transferability to match play. Do our movements or our decisions? So yeah, high transferability to match play. Get your players ready. If you like what you see, thanks very much for listening. Please come back. Please subscribe. Please like it.